What's up, fight fans? This is Kirk Cavill with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news concerning Luis Ortiz concerning Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn says that Luis Ortiz, despite what we've heard from today, yesterday, the day before, can still take on the fight with Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn says that there's still a possibility for Luis King Kong Ortiz to step in to agree to take on the June 1st fight with the IBF, WBA, and WBO heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua at Madison Square Garden. He say if not, there's other fighters included, like Michael Hunter and Andy Ruiz. Michael Hunter is actually managed by him, so it would be easier to take that fight. However, there's no guarantee that Michael Hunter's actually in training right now. I'm imagining that he's doing a little something now, knowing he's up for that fight, a possible candidate if he's not a fool, okay? Andy Ruiz just came from a fight, but Andy Ruiz is managed by Al Haymon. So we'll see how good, that'll be a good barometer, actually, if they could get a fight with Andy Ruiz and Al Haymon, since Al Haymon and Eddie, we'll see how they do well together. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, Eddie stated that he would like to see Andy Ruiz simply because of the following that Andy has. Obviously, Luis Ortiz would be the go-to guy, but Andy would be a bigger draw than Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter, of course, he's not as known as Andy Ruiz, and plus Andy Ruiz has a Mexican following, and then if he could fight Anthony Joshua, he could probably bring in a lot of Mexican or Latino fans or whatnot, but mostly Mexican fans, So, he said in the past, even if Luis Ortiz could come and say, let's go, and we do that. The difference is Luis Ortiz is a different draw than Andy Ruiz. Ruiz has a different value. The pay-per-view numbers would be less for Andy Ruiz than they would be for Luis Ortiz in the UK. The gate would probably be less for Andy Ruiz than it would for Luis Ortiz. Obviously, he doesn't have the same value. So, what does this mean? We got Luis Ortiz first, Andy Ruiz second, and Michael Hunter third. Okay? Now, I'm imagining how these guys could, how all these guys fall into place. Why, when. One thing I need to counterpunch in listening to all this, that Luis Ortiz wasn't training. Luis Ortiz doesn't train year-round. He's not in fighting shape. And a lot of fighters aren't. A lot of fighters aren't like Joshua. They're not like Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder, I think, is just genetic because he's naturally a slim dude. You know what I mean? He's not going to be all bent out of shape. And in a lot of things he didn't do in camp anyway. So again, that just falls on genetics, on, his strengths, right? But if Luis Ortiz wants to take that fight like he stated when that first so-called apology that he put, or his team put on Instagram, like he really wanted this fight, it's his time to show us how much he really wants this fight, because obviously what they said they offered was a lie. So they should just stop hiding behind lies or false statements, so to speak, and consider what they've been offered, whatever that is, but hopefully we'll know next week, and make the fight happen. Because, this tells me so much, though. If Luis Ortiz was offered more money than they claim, that tells me that Luis Ortiz, there had to be some reason they didn't want this fight. Because you got to ask yourself, why did they lie about it? Why was it, if you were offered this, why would you, if you were offered 9 million or 10 million or even 7 million, why would you say you were offered 5? You know what I'm saying? That really doesn't make sense to me at all. You know, that like it's something behind that, like there always is, you know. And of course, we know all the facts. We know that when he took the Deontay Wilder fight, he was so quick to jump on that fight, you know. So, but Luis Ortiz, man, I really feel that he needs to take this fight because this is the best possible option for him. And the other question it alludes to is why isn't people training for this fight? You know what I mean? Like what's stopping him from training now? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get what the mentality of people are. I mean, what like okay, if Luis Ortiz figured, hey, I'm there. If I feel that he wanted that fight or his team wanted that fight, they would have been preparing for that fight. You know, that kind of alludes me to think that maybe y'all don't want it if y'all wasn't even training when you found out Jarrell Miller tested dirty. You know what I'm saying? And that was last week. So last week you're like, okay, he tested dirty. I wanted to fight this kid supposedly before he signed or around that time he signed the contract to fight Jarrell Miller. So I think it's time for this fight to happen. You know, people wanted to see this fight across the board for a lot of reasons. You know, Luis Ortiz is, you know, he's thrown in there with the mix of the top heavyweights. So this is an opportunity to see one of the big three versus one of the top five. You know, I mean, that's what we have to go on. So, I don't know, man. I just really think that Luis Ortiz, I don't know where his head's at. I don't really know what's going on. I mean, obviously, Eddie Hearn didn't throw him under the bus yesterday with the interview he had simply because he is still a possible opponent. You know, that's the only reason that I can get from Eddie saying that, no, I'm going to wait until everything's finalized and everything's cleared. Then I will expose Ortiz. But I don't think he wanted to do that then because he could possibly be fighting Ortiz, so that'd be stupid to do or foolish for him to, hey, I'm going to throw you under the bus even though you're fighting us. You know what I mean? I mean, he could possibly still do that. I guess he could do that after they fought. Or, you know, the outcome of Joshua's favorite, Joshua beats Ortiz, and it's like, hey, look, these guys, even Ortiz didn't even want to fight us. He lied about what we offered him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But yeah, look, it's the ball in Luis Ortiz's corner. Jay Jimenez look, these guys are texting back and forth. They want that fight. That fight can happen. Okay, so let's just cut the bullshit. Let's stop with all the, hey, yeah, maybe, you know, Anthony Joshua's ducking the fight or they being lowballed and all that. And that's not cool because now it's coming to the forefront on things that are actually being offered to these fighters. And they're not taking it. But, of course, you guys tell me what you think. Who should Anthony Joshua fight next? We don't have much time. It's a small window of time. We got maybe, I don't know. We supposed to seen who he was going. Well, Luis Ortiz supposed to had a deadline for Tuesday. Obviously, that's been pushed back. So he still has at least maybe 24 hours. You know? So if his team gives a shit about him, then, you know, they need to get him ready, get him in gear, get him in the gym, and make him sign that dotted line. But anyway, you guys tell me who you think he should fight. Of course, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Please subscribe. You guys been counterpunched. Peace.